Reframing Mindset podcast, where I clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity, practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day.
Okay, welcome back to the Frame Myself podcast. My name is Carson Brooks, and this episode is going to be, like, always, it's another episode about counting your blessings. I know one of those things where I'm at work and the frustration of work, dealing with all these different personality and flustered and all these stuff. Like, boom, and that's another episode gonna come up as well, where it's like, basically flustered at work. But what happened was that if you realize, now actually before I got this work, I tried to set up my home somewhat. So what will happen is that when you're in that workplace for like 8 hours, you're frustrated and you're like, oh my God, but not realizing how far you've come in that, when you go home, you're going home to a nice home that's actually set up pretty neatly. you know, in his 30 years is not as ideal, but that's just one of the things where when I work in like a big company with different personality and the frustration and all those stuff. You just have to just push through the 8 hours and they just know that boom, you're coming home to somewhere. You're coming home to somewhere, to a home that you build up or somewhere that your own space. Now that's the blessed part of it now about this level where go do the work and it's like the frustration. But the ability to just come home and be like the, I remember the days, bro. I remember the days I didn't have all this luxury of coming home and sleeping in my what would be my own bed and can watch TV in my room and all these stuff. And I was like, these are luxuries. These are luxuries. And yeah, sometimes just working and be like, oh, yeah, yes, just thank God for those blessings in those times where we're feeling frustrated and be like, yeah, you're coming home somewhere. So that's basically the this part of this episode where sometimes you're at work and work is frustrating, all 8 hours of frustration. You have to just push through that 8 hours. And the great feeling about when you leave work and reach home is that you just come home to the space that you have built. So that's one of the reasons why you're cleaning and all those stuff because when you basically just come home and see it's so nice and be like, oh my God, all the frustration at work just disappear. And it's like you weren't even at work. Like right now, I'm just recording this episode, and the trials of work is just not there. Like I know the trials and trials of work, and when I'm there, the trials are there. But here, I'm just chilling, bro. Just chilling. Yeah. So that's basically this episode. Where be like, sometimes you feel frustrated at work. Just realize that it's the blessings that you have. The frustration at work can basically make you want to leave and all these stuff, but sometimes you don't realize that minor frustration can make you forget how far you have come. So yes, that minor frustration. Cause like for example, boom, I still have this trauma now at work, but not realizing, boom, I got the driving position. I may do less of that rigorous part of the work, and that's the thing where the the trials of reaching the next level is really scary and all those stuff. But you have to remember the struggle that you're leaving behind. Remember the days after all these stuff. But now who knows? Driving will just be natural. And that's the thing where, like, your the frustration of um the frustration of a level can make you forget the blessings that you have at that level. And what happens is that if you don't really be mindful of that, you basically go and throw away all the blessings for that minor inconvenience due to a minor inconvenience. So that's one of the things we have to just be always mindful of that as well. We just be mindful of how far I've come, and then just deal with the pressure of saying, okay, this is the reality I have to go through to get the next blessing and all those stuff. So that's basically it for this episode. Thank you for listening, and look forward for the next episode. Mm.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page Reframing Mindset Podcast or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.